I'm gonna be completely honest, with everything going on this week at Bungie, I'm pretty goddamned pissed off for a number of reasons. If you have absolutely no idea what's been going on lately in the world of D2/Bungie or the gaming industry in general, I'll fill you in and share some updated thoughts now that we've had some time to process everything that's gone down. On Monday, October 30th, a bunch of Bungie employees across multiple different departments hopped onto social media to announce that they had been let go. At first, we thought it might just be a few people, but the day kept going on and the announcements just kept coming. Even multi-year veterans who had been working at Bungie since Halo were caught up in this garbage tornado of an event. I can't believe that I'm actually saying this out loud with my goddamn mouth. Just to give you an idea of how ridiculous this all is, Michael Salvatore was included in the giant wave of layoffs. Now, some of you might not know who that is, but I sure as hell know that most of you are probably very familiar with their work. Michael Salvatore is a top-tier composer in the industry who helped create such masterpiece soundtracks as the Halo soundtracks, not to mention basically all the major Destiny ones, including The Taken King, Rise of Iron, Forsaken, Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, The Witch Queen, and Lightfall. I've heard some people mention how much of an outrage it is that the guy who composed Deep Stone Lullaby, the song so good that it had Day One Raiders stopping to appreciate it, was let go from Bungie. Well, don't worry, that isn't correct. Michael Salvatore did not compose Deep Stone Lullaby. That was a different guy at Bungie, Michael Sechrist, who was also let go. GG. And now that the initial shock is subsiding, we're all just left wondering what the fuck. As of the recording of today's video, Bungie has still remained incredibly quiet on what's been going on. CEO Pete Parsons put out a few tone-deaf tweets and has been getting his ass beat in the QRTs ever since. Any follow-up insight mainly has been getting gathered in the following way. Anonymous insiders, formerly from Bungie, have been speaking directly with industry journalists, both about what happened and why this was all going down. And obviously, they're only going to tell their story on the condition that the people they talk to don't release their names and job titles, because if they did, it would likely result in a potential lawsuit, or maybe that person hurting their chances at future employment in the industry in general. And even though getting information this way feels kind of shady, I can only assume that these insider stories being shared have got to be from actual sources. After all, if they weren't, that would basically be complete career suicide for anyone sharing fake insider information. I'm going to bring up some reporting from industry journalist Jason Schreier, who put out an updated article the other day on the situation. Schreier reports that only 2 or so weeks ago, the higher-up execs at Bungie told employees that revenue was running 45% below projections for the year. That is an astounding number, but honestly, yeah, I can see it. 2023 has been sort of a 1-2 punch to the D2 player base. Yeah, we've got some good content. The revamped Crota raid was challenging and fun, but the overall vibe I've gotten from the community, or at least from the people I've spoken to, is that Lightfall didn't hit as hard as the Witch Queen, and that's really bad when it comes on the heels of your company being snatched up in a multi-billion-dollar deal by Sony. On top of that, as people have pointed out, 2023, while clearly a terrible year for game devs, yielded a ton of really successful games. Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Wonder, Alan Wake 2, and so on. As DTM put it on Twitter, it's not that I really even dislike the current season of D2. It's not great, it's fine. But really, it's just that there's so much good stuff out there to play right now. And while that may not be the only factor, it's probably a big reason for that 45% dip. I gotta tell you though, when leadership projects such a high number and then you fail to hit that number by almost half, isn't that kind of on leadership? I'm sure that making projections and trying to hit them is a huge challenge in itself. I don't even know where you would start trying to do that. But again, missing by that much is wild. I feel like that's got to be on the higher-ups. And on that note, I want to talk real quick not about the higher-ups, aka the folks at Bungie who didn't make these wild cost-cutting decisions, but the devs and the CMs and so forth who simply want to go into work every day and make an awesome product that they can be proud of. I know this is not uncommon in the corporate world, but the reports of how some of these people were let go, just being brought in for ultra quick you're out meetings, is just gut wrenching, especially when it happens so fast that you're not even really able to say goodbye to your coworkers that you spent years working with. There's also been some reports that one of the alleged reasons that these layoffs happened on the specific day that they did is because that if it happened only a few days later in November, employees that wound up getting awarded company stock in the big Sony acquisition not too long ago would finally at long last be able to get money from said stock. Again, allegedly, because this happened at the tail end of October, the stock of the employees who have been cut loose would go straight back to the company. Apparently, this is not uncommon in the business world, but if it's true, it's not only incredibly up, but it makes me angry, of course, for the obvious reason of, wow, that's really greedy. But now I'm mad at a very particular part of Bungie. The execs, the suits, the whatever you want to call them. I want to yell at them because this all seems really goddamn preventable, and the people who end up getting hurt are folks who just care about making fun games and are passionate about their jobs. The day the layoffs happened at Bungie, a really poorly timed tweet went up that mentioned, quote, spreading doom and gloom, which was talking about an exotic grenade launcher. Of course, doom and gloom was ironically very much the vibe that day. Again, really poorly timed. And some people, I can't really blame them because they were mad at the time, were kind of using this moment as like a, wow, Bungie, are you serious with this? Read the room type situation. But the sad reality of that situation is that the tweet was probably not only just scheduled for routine posting, but also maybe was composed and made by someone who got laid off from the community team. I'm just extra sad about this because after years of content creation and gaming in general, I know a lot of people still employed at Bungie, including some former community members, because they were so passionate about the game and filled with the desire to work on and improve something that they really cared about. According to IGN, Bungie employees were telling the higher-ups for months prior to layoffs that they knew D2 player sentiment was really low and begging the execs for necessary changes to win players back. For the ones at Bungie who weren't let go, I just can't imagine being in their shoes right now. A ton of your coworkers who worked with you side by side, putting blood, sweat, and tears into a product, gone. And then after that, watching your Zitter feed go up in flames as part of you feels that your boss, maybe not your direct boss, but the guy at the top of the corporate pyramid of the company you work for, just pulled a move that would even make Emperor Palpatine go, Jesus fucking Christ. I really hope that those people, the people who actually care about making a great game and a great experience for a passionate community, I hope that they aren't overwhelmed with a kind of survivor's guilt type feeling. I hope that the people swept up in this mess who lost their jobs are able to find employment, especially knowing how much general turmoil the industry seems to be in right now. And finally, I hope that the industry in general gets some big goddamn reform after all of this. Look, I get it. At the end of the day, it's a business, but you can't be treating people like this. It's just bad for everybody. I mean, fine, let's put it in pure business terms so the people at the top can understand. Pete Parsons, PDP, captain of the ship, do me a solid here. Lean in right now. Give me a little lean-a-roo so you can really hear this one. Okay, listening? Good. This is horrible PR for Bungie, horrible PR for D2, and the industry in general. It's so clear that big reputation damage has been done to Bungie. And again, that sucks extra hard because at the end of the day, it seems that it was caused by dollar-chasing execs, and the people who really are going to suffer are those who actually care about making the game they love to work on better. God damn it with all of this. Sorry for the rant. It's kind of, I know I'm contributing to the current pissed off vibes right now. Gonna try to stay positive, but it really, really fucking sucks. It really, really sucks. Please have a good week. Be well. Take care of each other. Yeah.